Starbeam, do you long to be an expert, accumulating all the certificates and trainings and awards to show off and prove your expert status? It's so tempting, isn't it? The desire to prove yourself and your work, it can suck you right on in. Well, guess what? Do I have something juicy in store for you? Because of today's episode, I'm here to flip the script on being an expert. I'm going to challenge you a little, surprise you a little, and ignite the flame of your inner expert within you. Sounds alluring? Oh, I know it does. Okay, now that your curiosity is piqued, turn on the volume and settle on in. Welcome to the Devoted Way podcast, all about magic and miracles with me, Sora Schilling. It's time to hone in on your intuition, become artful, respectful, and nuanced with your relationship with energy, and live life based on your design. Your unique blueprint encoded with stardust from the ethereal realm and blood from those that have come before you. You know what to do and how to be, so trust in yourself. So how do you be an expert? So, let's take a moment. Go ahead and everyone that's listening, close your eyes for a moment. And with your eyes closed, take a breath. Settle your system. Go further inward into your internal space. And I would get curious around the energy behind the word expert. I'm an expert. You're an expert. They're an expert. Am I an expert? Notice how often that word is associated with this hierarchical space of I am more than. I know more, I've done more, I am more, I have more accolades. It's this external thing. It is other people's perception around you being experts. Someone has told you that you are. So naturally, to then have ourselves consider, I don't know if I'm an expert, doesn't feel true, of course, because you're waiting for someone else to tell you that you are. So go ahead and put that to the side, still with your eyes closed. And I invite you to now drop into the energy of bringing forth, I'm wise. I have wisdom. I have lived experiences. I have actively moved through lessons. There are some things that I do know now in life that I didn't know before. And as I continue to live, that too may shift. That is ever overflowing. It will always change. That being wise actually means that we do not need to stay in a space of holding. That wisdom ebbs and flows. It is not about right or wrong. It's about us acknowledging ourselves. So go ahead and then open your eyes. So I find that expert, even that word, right? How do I become a leading expert in my field? Has these like stars behind, and what's my certificate? And so there's this program and conditioning around an expert means for many, I need to have been well educated, for example, or I would have had to been on TV, or I would need to be on Super Soul Sunday, or like there's something big that has to happen in order to be an expert. And so therefore it's this external experience. And so when you think of it, a lot of people talk about, but I feel like I'm in imposter syndrome. And I get curious around that because if you're in imposter syndrome, that means you are an imposter, meaning you are putting on the role or the mask of someone else outside of you. So, therefore, the question that I would have is, well, who are you playing in this role? Because it certainly isn't you. Because if it was you, you would feel completely comfortable because you're in your own body, you're in your own skin, you're in your own presence, right? But when we start comparing or start living in the future, often we're living in the future based on a model or a vision of someone else. And then we're trying to fit it into our own life, being like, that's what I want. Versus if we start acknowledging, you know what, all of these experiences led me to this point, right? If I can let go of this idea that my quote success as an expert lies in how much money I make, how many people follow me on social, how many amazing launches I've had, how many books I've written, whatever it is that each of you as listeners may have as a category of like the things you want to accomplish, right? If we let that go, every single thing that you've experienced in life is incredible. Right? It is mind blowing. It is heart blowing. Everyone has had experiences. And so when we think about that, then we can also honor that there are so many of those that that feel like they do not have a voice, that have less accessibility, right? That are marginalized in so many ways. And that in itself is also true. And their experiences are also rich and deep. And therefore, their voices are required inside of these conversations too. And so everyone is an expert in their own experience, in their own life. And therefore, as a coach and healer, because why are you showing up? Because your experience and your lens of how you see the world and your ability, yes, inside of the devoted community, you're constantly learning and doing better and being open to understanding diversity and inclusion. And you're like, yes, to understanding patriarchy and white supremacy and moving through all of the isms. And so therefore you're constantly doing the work, and you are therefore opening your space for community members to join in because they are finally being able to breathe and say, thank you, there's a space for me. To be an internal expert means that you know yourself and you are yes to continue to know yourself. By doing so, your community members and your potential clients will immediately be a yes to you because they can breathe. They can finally feel like you are the person that I'd like to walk with because there's something in you that gets me. You have information and wisdom that allows me to open up to being my own internal expert, right? So to me, that is the most, I believe, supportive way of considering releasing possibly even the word expert for now, bringing in the proof and validation of what you have learned and how much you actually have the capacity of resilience based on your life, realizing the lessons that you have already accrued, how much love and compassion and willingness and motivation and inspiration you have to serve others. And from that place, say, I am wise. I have wisdom. I have space for each and every one of you. I am an expert at living my life in curiosity. I'm an expert at all of the ways that I still fumble. I'm an expert at the way that I limit myself. I'm an expert at my shadows and my light. And I'm an expert at being yes to not knowing anything and not being an expert. So that's what I would say when it comes to experts. It is a blessing to serve you. My deepest desire is to bring nourishment to your soul, activate and enliven your inner landscape, and find inspiration through the sacred stories of others and myself so we remember we are collectively woven. If you would like to learn more about mysticism, spiritual devotion, magic and intuition, sacred leadership, business practices, and devoted energy coaching, please make sure you subscribe to Devoted Way Podcast. As I continue to serve, may I humbly ask for a sacred exchange. I would be so appreciative if you would write a love note, otherwise known as a review. Share the episode with your friends and community members, and engage with me on Instagram at Devoted Way. If you have any questions you desire to be answered on Devoted Way podcast, please head over to devotedway.com and send me an email. Stay sacred and discover your path and join the Devoted Way. May magic and miracles occur in your life every day as you co-create a synchronistic new world with the Great Mother. Until next time, this is Sora Schilling.